Mel Kiper dropped his 2026 NFL Draft Big Board last week, and we have yet to break down the top quarterbacks on his list. Now, this was a week ago, but one game shouldn't drastically change how the quarterback outlook looks. So we'll break it down for you on today's video. Unlike ESPN Plus, our NFL draft coverage is free here on Chat Sports. So help us out by sharing today's video so other people can tune in, lock in, and watch all of our NFL draft coverage here at Chat Sports. So number one for Mel Kiper's quarterback rankings is Dante Moore, the Oregon quarterback, who was, by the way, his number one overall player. And I like Dante Moore. That seems a little bit rich for me. He was not great at UCLA. I think the situation wasn't good either. Like, there was a lot of issues there for Dante Moore. Not coming off of his best big game, I'll say. I'll clarify it that way. With the performance against Indiana where he just didn't look comfortable. Looked a hell of a lot better against Rutgers, though. Had himself a nice bounce-back game. I was a little surprised to see Mel Kiper list Dante Moore as his number one overall player in the 2026 NFL Draft. There's plenty of things to like, but a common trend in general with this quarterback class is it's kind of a small sample size. So how does that fit in with Dante Moore? And I think it's very early to anoint him as the best player. I don't know if he's going to go pro. And frankly, I am kind of going back to the Bill Parcells roots of I want to see you start a bunch of years in college. And I want you to have that experience because I think it does benefit you in the long run, even if, Oregon's offense isn't necessarily the most pro-friendly. Better than Lane Kiffin's offense, which is Mickey Mouse, but super fun. Number two, Fernando Mendoza out of Indiana, the Cal transfer. Indiana's doing more RPO stuff this year, but they've still done actual middle-of-the-field vertical shot stuff. Cal's offense did some real quarterbacking, and Mendoza will go through reads. Not that other quarterbacks don't, all of them, but there are several quarterbacks who man, it's first read and run. It's half-field reads, which makes so much sense for college, but it's such a different game when you get to the field. That was honestly Malik Willis. It was his issue. He did not do real reads, didn't attack the middle of the field, and he's had a very slow development curve as a result. Mendoza, he has more experience. If I had to pick a quarterback right now who I actually think is going to go pro, I think there are some big question marks on other guys, make a real argument for Mendoza number one, even if that's not necessarily the sexiest name in this year's class. Number three is Ty Simpson, and this is where the experience kind of raises some red flags. He has barely played football, at the college level, but he's been so good this year. Ty Simpson's been dealing for Alabama. He has repeatedly made big-time plays, Tennessee and Missouri, ranked opponents. 3 TDs, no interceptions. 2 TDs, no interceptions. Did throw one against Vanderbilt, but he's got 20 total touchdowns. He's had some fumbles. Those are some red flags as well, but threw for 340 yards against Vanderbilt, 276 against Georgia. Schedule continues with some tough games, but that's kind of all we have to judge him on, unless you want to try to go judge him on, some previous year campaigns, they subbed him in late against South Florida back in 2023 and was actually okay, but took 5 sacks in that game. Coach's kid fits that mold there. I've been impressed. He makes some big-time plays, but he's still also very inexperienced. Who do you think will be the first quarterback drafted in 2026? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Remember earlier how I mentioned I would kind of want to see some of these quarterbacks go back to school, not turn pro? That's LaNorris Sellers. I think he would significantly benefit from going back to school and, frankly, going to a different program. I don't want to be overly mean to Mike Shula, but, maybe we shouldn't be having Mike Shula be our coordinator in the year of our Lord 2025. That doesn't sound like a very good idea for me. Sellers' numbers do not pop off the screen. The touchdowns are down. He takes too many sacks. Part of that is the supporting structure around him. I would love to see him hit the portal, go to a team that'll give him a little bit more real quarterbacking stuff, put him in a better situation, and let him be the dynamic dual threat that he has shown in flashes he can be. Otherwise, we're kind of we're in year 2 of the upside, and that scares me because you could be Anthony Richardson. Maybe you're Josh Allen, but more often than not, you're Logan Thomas. So should LaNorris Sellers turn pro? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Apologies for the sniffles, gang. John Mateer, number 5, is next up here on the list. Super fun player. The consistency is maybe never going to be there. I will say, though, man, he wasn't healthy. He was not, I think it was pretty obvious. He was not healthy for Oklahoma against Texas. I applaud him trying to get out there and grit through it, and I don't think he was that healthy against South Carolina either, and that's kind of why they dial back some of the rushing, and, only the last 2 games haven't been as good for John Mateer. From a production standpoint, it was not good against Texas. He just can't quite throw it with the same velocity he normally has, which makes the eval a little bit complicated. He's fun. He's an awesome college QB. I just, there is some Baker to his attitude in a good way, but, the touchdown turnover ratio is kind of heading in the wrong direction as of late. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this football season on Prize Picks, where it is good to be right. Prize Picks is the only app that offers stacks. You can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. So if you want to take more than, let's say, Josh Allen, rushing yards, passing yards, TDs, you can do it. Saquon Barkley, more than rushing yards, receiving yards, and TDs. This week, thanks to producer Aiden, we've got Saquon more than a half TD, Aaron Rodgers' revenge game more than passing yards, Jordan Love more than pass attempts. Also, check out the feed feature on Prize Picks. The feed tab lets you follow other Prize Picks players directly in the app and copy their lineups in one simple click. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Number 6 is Carson Beck, and I don't want to buy into the guy because I have never been a huge Carson Beck fan, but I think we're running into the issues that, frankly, we saw at Georgia, where he doesn't have an overwhelming physical skill set. And if you don't have an overwhelming physical skill set, you can't be turnover guy. And that's what he is. 11 TDs, 7 interceptions passing. There were some questionable comments like, I don't know, like he's not wrong. The receiver ran the wrong route in the final play, but like, should you say that publicly? Like Georgia fans will tell you that that was an issue for the Bulldogs. I don't see the upside for Carson Beck, and I see too many mistakes to justify that downside. Number 7 is Garrett Nussmeier. I don't think he's healthy. He is not throwing the same way he did last year. His numbers are down as a result. But he's not dynamic mobile either, which I think is worth mentioning here. This is fine. He's also got 15% too much of the bad Tony Romo in him, where like he will just make mistakes. He'll throw a bad pass. He'll just not see the guy dropping directly into his passing window. Again, the way he plays, where he doesn't have an overwhelming arm, it's not bad. It's good enough. He doesn't have the mobility. There's so little margin for error. I think we're seeing some of those issues crop up this year for Nussmeier. Hopefully he gets healthy. LSU ain't out of it. Can he guide them to a run down the stretch? Number 8, Sam Leavitt, Arizona State's quarterback. This is like the lesser version of John Mateer. He's a fun college QB, man. He's running around, making plays, backyard football nonsense. But at a certain point, I do need to see you consistently win within structure. Leavitt has some fun tools, the arm strength, the mobility, but the accuracy comes and goes. And I can't have you just like bail on a clean pocket, go do something else, try to make a crazy play. I do need to see a little bit more consistency from that. And that's why I would like to see Leavitt also go back to school. Let's get to 420K. Get it? 420? Nice? Yeah. Hit that sub button here on Chat Sports or on NFL Draft YouTube channel if you're watching over there. Hit that sub button if you haven't already done so. YouTube.com/chatsportstv. Number 9, Jayden Maiava, who I've been impressed by. Much better this past season than what it was last year for USC, the former UNLV transfer, by the way. Or Maiava, excuse me. I don't know if he's got the top end talent. I think Chris Sims called him a first-round pick. I don't know about that one there. But he's been way better this year for the Trojans and is trending towards being an actual NFL caliber draft pick this season. And then number 10 is Drew Allar, the Penn State quarterback, who I would not be surprised if he still ended up going somewhere in the first 2 days, because a team's going to talk themselves into the upside, the arm talent, the mobility, the arm strength, in the same way that they talked themselves into Christian Hackenberg. But this was not the year Drew Allar wanted. He could have gone pro, and he probably would have been overdrafted in that quarterback class kind of significantly. Now he's coming off a bad leg injury. We'll see if he's healthy enough for some of the all-star circuit stuff. Didn't look good. None of that is not that it didn't look good. He looked like the same guy he's been in the past. And that's disappointing for Allar and for Penn State, and does open up just a bit of a wild card for him in the NFL draft. Some honorable mentions here from Mel Kiper. He mentions Josh Hoover, Taylen Green, and favorite story in college football, Trinidad Chambliss. I don't know if he can actually play real NFL football at the quarterback spot. Like, he's undersized, he's in the Lane Kiffin offense, but damn, he's fun, man. This is why. How can you not be romantic about college football in Trinidad Chambliss? Taylen Green is big, upside guy, athletic, but like not a consistent passer. Have been impressed by Josh Hoover. Big 12's got some solid QBs that could see them going back to school. For those of them who are eligible, by the way, including Brendan Sorsby out of Cincinnati, who was bad in week 1, has been a lot better since then. Credit to him. Sawyer Robertson. There's a lot of the guys this year, like, yeah, they show flashes of, like, being a really good quarterback and, like, doing some good things, but, like, not really consistent. Like, Sawyer Robertson looks great against Oklahoma State, lights them up for nearly 400 yards and 4 TDs. Did that against SMU, 440 yards, 4 TDs. Lit up Auburn. Yeah, and then threw 3 picks in a loss against TCU. So, like, which he's so inconsistent still, and he's actually not accurate that that guy scares me, by the way. Cade Klubnik out of Clemson, plummeting down the rankings. Every year he got better until this season. It's bad. Luke Altmaier, screams like practice squad quarterback to me. Jalen Daniels, he's fun as well. He and Byron Brown, like, I don't think they're actually NFL quarterbacks, but they're fun. I forget the CBS Sports guy was complaining about the ratings won't be good if you put Georgia Tech against South Florida. Like, are you kidding me? I want to watch Hayes King and Byron Brown ball out. That's awesome. That's what college football's about, baby. Diego Pavia, not an NFL QB. He should be able to play college football as long as he wants to. Go to a new team each year. Have fun with it. Rutgers quarterback has done some inconsistent but promising stuff. Of note, no Arch Manning. I feel like it's more likely he transfers than goes pro right now. Not a hot take.